largemouth bass. Unquestionably one of the world's most unique sport fish. Truly versatile in nature, it can thrive in a variety of different waters, from lakes, rivers, reservoirs, pits, and ponds to tidal environments. Within each of these waters, the largemouth bass sets up a patternable existence, a way throughout the course of a season to attain the basics of life: food, safety, and the ability to reproduce. The In-Fisherman has broken this seasonal cycle into aquatic calendar periods. These are not tied to man's calendar. Fish pay no attention to man's clocks. Instead, fish follow a biological calendar based on conditions within the environment. Since weather conditions vary, seasons do not arrive automatically on the same date each year. The In-Fisherman calendar is broken into 10 identifiable periods of fish activity. They are dictated by water temperature, food sources, weather, and other natural influences that affect fish behavior. Lakes, rivers, reservoirs, pits, and ponds all have their own personalities. Every lake has a different shape, mixture of deep, mid-range, and shallow water, food sources, and last but not least, available cover for the largemouth to use. As seasonal food sources, cover, and water temperature change, the bass change too. Fortunately, we can use our knowledge of bass behavior to predict their responses to the changing seasons. Join us as we follow the seasonal movement of bass within one particular lake to gain an insight on how fish are programmed by the confines of the environment they live in. The skim ice has been off Big Turtle Lake for several weeks. Bass have been reacting to the warming water by beginning to leave the deeper weed beds where they spent the winter and moving toward shallow water areas. Sun exposure warms the shallow water, attracting bait fish and spurring fish activity. More and more bass penetrate the shallows and fish begin to feed aggressively. Well, what do you know? We find Al Lindner in the shallow bay at the north end of the lake. The surface temperature there has risen to 52 degrees compared to the cooler main lake, which is still only 45 degrees.
Boy, it's one of those warm spring days. Weatherman said that it's going to get up to about 60 degrees today. That means those bass are going to suck into these shallow water areas. We're pre-spawn bass fishing. You know, I want to take a minute to explain what pre-spawn means. In fact, I should explain to you what the calendar periods are, because the In-Fisherman talks a lot about calendar periods in television, magazine, and radio, because it's important. It's one of the keys to understanding fish movement in a lake and to catch fish consistently. These are the 10 calendar periods.
The fish's calendar periods affect their location and activity. In spring, you have pre-spawn, spawn, and post-spawn. Then you get into the summertime. You start with a pre-summer movement, summer peak, the actual summer period, and then post-summer. Then comes the cold water periods of turnover, cold water, and frozen water.
Of these 10 calendar periods, 3 of them are the best fishing you can ever have. Pre-spawn, like we're talking now, summer peak, and cold water. During these 3 calendar periods, what you've got is lots of fish in very confined areas that are pretty active. That means good, fast fishing. It also determines the kind of lures you're going to use and how you fish them. There's 2 baits that, oh, there he is. Whoa, man, did he hit that thing? Ah, little guy again. Another little bass. There's 2 baits that I really use a lot when I'm on a pre-spawn bite. Spinner bait is my first choice. I like a tandem spin, mainly because I can cover a lot of water fast. Just cast it out and retrieve it back. Don't get tricky. You don't have to do a lot of drops or anything. The object here is cover water and look for the biters. After I get in an area like this, and say I catch 8 or 10 fish in a spinnerbait, what I'll end up doing is I'll come back through it again with a small jig and eel. In this case, a little 1/8 ounce. You could put a 101 pork on the back or a number 11. It really don't make no difference. Another thing I'll do with that jig is if I miss a fish, they'll come up and roll behind that spinnerbait. You chunk that jig right back in there and he'll bite on it. A few other little things that'll help you understand that pre-spawn movement of bass. First, the location. Let's talk about location now.
Protected shallow bays warm up early in the season. Bays on the north end of the lake warm up faster than those on the south end because they receive more exposure to the sun. Dark organic material on the bottom absorbs the sun's energy. A black bottom bay will warm faster than a light colored bottom. Man-made channels also warm up quickly because they're sheltered and isolated from the main body of the lake. Not all shallow water is good for pre-spawn bass. Narrow bands of shallow water surrounding the main lake don't warm up quickly and will not attract bass during the pre-spawn period.
There's one. Oh! Oh! That's what you get for hitting my jig twice. Get yourself caught there, young man. Get yourself caught. Whoa. Nice cover all through. Two things determine pre-spawn movements. Two main things. Water temperature and a need to reproduce. That's the trigger. Oh, got him! Big fish! Oh! One piece that thing up. Oh! Oh, baby. Get out of there, you big old pig. Hey. I love it, man. Hey? We're just sitting on the side of that big old lily pad log. That's the kind of fishing you can expect on a pre-spawn bite. Lots of fish, from little tiny dinks to real giants.